Hi, are you interested in alternative education, homeschooling, world schooling, unschooling, and especially self-directed learning? If so, you may be interested in an amazing new way for kids to learn. My name is Liz Quain, and I'm a director with Galileo. In this video, I'll share with you 3 things. The first is why we came up with a new way for kids to learn, and I'll tell you the answer right now. It's that the current mass education system is ineffective and out of date. The second is what Galileo is, how it got started, how it works, and what families and students think about it. And finally, what local learning dojos are and how this new type of hybrid learning will work. So let's get started. If you're a parent like I am, you're probably concerned about your children's education and whether or not they'll be well prepared for the future. There are more and more options available and a variety of ways for kids to learn. The best one for your family probably depends a lot on your family's values, each child's personality, best ways for them to learn, and what kind of outcome you're all hoping for. I have 12-year-old twin girls, and we've tried a few different ways to learn, including the traditional public school system. My girls have been attending Galileo since the beginning, so 1.5 years now, and it's the best way they've ever learned. They never want to return to the traditional system. We discovered Galileo through a friend when it was just launching. A small team of parents, educators, and developers got together and produced the Homeschooling Global Summit, partly as R&D for the online school concept that they had. I was so impressed with the idea of Galileo when it was first launching that I knew I had to drop what I was doing and be part of the founding team. I've helped out in a variety of tasks and projects, but the initiative I'm working on now with the local learning dojos is the most exciting. So keep watching to find out more. We're currently working with individuals from around the world who have or who are planning to launch a local in-person self-directed learning center or microschool or a homeschool resource center or a world school hub. There are many things that we can call it. But first, a little bit of a background and why we're partnering with forward-thinking entrepreneurial educators and why there's such a desperate need for something new and better. As some of us have figured out, the traditional school system has a lot of problems. In the age of the internet, modern technology, and the ability for children to learn in a personalized and individualistic way, the traditional school system has been slow to change, and it's still embracing an antiquated and standardized one-size-fits-all curriculum. There's still too much rote memorization, lots of testing, as well as coercive practices to get students to learn what the school board or the state deems to be important. But when you consider that 53% of US recent college grads are unemployed or underemployed, and when you also consider that student engagement has decreased from 80% on average for kindergartners to 40% for high school freshmen, so 14 and 15-year-olds, you can see that something is wrong. The current traditional system is not working for a large percentage of our young people. If you're not yet convinced, watch Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk, which is the most watched TED Talk ever, titled "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" Or look up renowned psychology and research professor Peter Gray and why he thinks that school is a prison. When kids aren't engaged, they're not going to learn. In fact, 90% of what a typical student, quote unquote, learns in a traditional school gets lost afterwards. How much of what you learned in school do you remember? The system is set up to reward obedient kids who can focus on lectures and books that may or may not be relevant to their lives or interesting to them, and those who have good short-term memory, and punishes those who don't. What is the use of forcing students to learn things they're not interested in or are practical for their lives and will soon forget? All the stress and anxiety that comes with school, with grades, with GPA scores, what is the purpose of it all? Those of us who have researched the history of education have learned that the school system was set up a couple hundred years ago during the first Industrial Revolution, starting in Prussia, but spread throughout the world. Its goal was to create literate and obedient factory workers, then future office workers. It worked wonderfully for many years and helped our civilization around the world prosper. There is no doubt about that. But now in the fourth industrial revolution, that thinking is out of date. A lot of the factory and office jobs are getting automated, aren't they? And it's now more important for people to have 21st century skills, such as critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Also, due to a more globally connected world, it's more important than ever to be a global citizen and better understand other cultures and viewpoints. Work has changed. Believe it or not, the average millennial will work 15 to 20 jobs in their lifetime. The world of work and business is changing fast due to technology and globalization. And for our kids who are currently school age, 65% of our kids' future jobs are not yet invented. Who would have known 20 years ago there would be such a big demand for social media managers or artificial intelligence engineers or solar and wind technicians? So, how do we prepare our kids for a future that is unknown? These are the issues that Galileo, the new and innovative education platform and community, has been tackling for the past couple of years. We are in the process of reinventing education and helping young people be better prepared for the future, whether it's to launch a tech company, become a digital maker, or a creative freelancer, or business owner, or attend university. We're working with our students so they can become independent, self-directed, and self-organized learners. So in 2019, we started our initiative to launch a 21st century online global school for 8 to 18-year-olds. The team first produced the Homeschooling Global Summit and interviewed and learned from top alternative education experts such as Sir Ken Robinson, Peter Gray, Jerry Mintz, Pat Faranga, and many others. This was fabulous R&D for us to really understand the best ways for children, well, anyone, to learn. Our research has shown that letting students self-direct their learning, actually choose what they want to learn, results in a more motivated, adaptive, and lifelong learners. It also allows for a highly personalized way to learn that fits their interests and way of learning. They can also dive deep into their passions and often accelerate learning. Having the power to learn what one is keen to learn is not only the nicest way to learn, but the most engaging and effective as well. Remember that 90% of what a typical student learns in a traditional school gets lost afterwards. So imagine how much more students will remember and keep in their long-term memory if they have the freedom to choose. Ultimately, self-directed learners will know how to learn and be better prepared for what's coming. So in September of 2019, pre-COVID, Galileo Launch, our beta version, led by our CEO, Vlad Stan, who's a software developer, and his co-founder, Kelly Davis, who heads up our education team. A handful of facilitators, club leaders, and operational staff joined soon after. We started with a book club on Zoom and with a handful of students. And then we added daily check-ins, which are 30-minute group meetings of a small number of students and a facilitator. These are similar to Scrum meetings at tech companies and what Agile Learning Centers do to set their intentions. These check-ins help with accountability, motivation, and to build community. You know, the important socialization that many parents want for their kids. And yes, it's possible to make meaningful friendships online. Then we started launching more clubs and project-based classes, which we call Nano Courses. Our beta was a success, and now nearly 2 years later, we have nearly 30 ongoing clubs and have led many Nano Courses, boot camps, Meet Your Mentors events, and much more is coming. We also guide each student to create their own personalized learning plan, which helps them know what to focus on when they're learning on their own, offline and online learning as well. And we have a massive list of online resources that our education team has tested and curated. So we've created an innovative online global school and learning community for 8 to 18-year-old self-directed learners, including many unschoolers, homeschoolers, world schoolers, and expats. Due to COVID, students who had previously attended private and public schools, they enrolled as well. All learning sessions are in English, live and interactive, and lots of fun. We have an Americas cohort for students in North and South America, a Europe, Africa cohort, and Asia just got their own cohort and they're getting more offerings. So we are repeating these live sessions 3 times and eventually it will be 4 times and on and on. The goal is to have live classes going around the clock to give students more options and flexibility of when to attend these sessions. And please note that Galileo is a year-round program and families can take breaks whenever they want. My kids have been attending Galileo since the start, and they are loving it. I think it's because it's a combination of self-directed education, project-based learning, entrepreneurship, skills of the future, and global citizenship. Here you can see some of the Nano Courses, which are the project-based courses offered during the past few months that focus on building knowledge and skills we think will be important to know for the future. Here you can see our weekly clubs. Notice that not only do we offer many typical academic subjects like math, English, science, and history, we again offer many skill building clubs to prepare our students for the future. Many of these topics aren't even taught until high school or university. Students and parents have a lot of say in what is offered at Galileo, and students can even launch their own clubs. For those heading to university, there's definitely a way to get there using Galileo. Here you can see that we have our standard self-directed school plan, which is $300 per month or 2,000 US per year. Considering that these are live sessions with amazing facilitators and teachers, that's a pretty good deal. And then for teens who are gearing towards university, or for students who live in a country that demand certain academic subjects are covered or they have to take regular tests, we have our Pro Academics plan, which is $750 a month or $7,200 a year. The Pro Academics plan includes lots of one-on-one academic coaching and tutoring sessions, as well as group test prep for the SATs or IGCSEs. It also includes enrollment in the umbrella school, West River Academy, who is our accreditation partner and can take what the students learn with Galileo or elsewhere and put it on their transcripts. This will eventually lead to West River Academy's U.S. private school diploma. They've been in business since the late 1990s and have homeschooling and unschooling students based in over 50 countries. We recently hired Michael Tsai, who is a college admissions specialist, to work with our pro academic students. So check out our video on Galileo's YouTube channel, where he gives advice about how to best prepare our students for university. Then here's something really amazing that we just launched. Each Galileo student will have a learning timeline keeping track of all that they learned in Galileo, all their monthly presentations, their Nano courses that they completed, the books they read, the projects they worked on, etc. Here's a real student's timeline, and you can see that he's into tech and entrepreneurship. He attends 8 ongoing clubs and has attended 15 Nano courses so far. Here is a quick scroll so you can see lots of what he's been learning. He even took a couple practice SAT tests. Some things are even clickable and will show his presentations. There are no grades at Galileo unless you want to put them on your West River Academy or your own homeschool transcripts. No mandatory attendance, no exams, and no punishments. Despite this, or probably because of this, our students are eagerly and happily learning. The pressure to obey and succeed is off them, and that frees them to learn for the innate joy of learning and not for some extrinsic force or motivation. Yes, we have guidelines and etiquette, but students are in the driver's seat with their learning. So all the things on their learning timeline is what they chose to do. None of this was forced on the student. They are learning these things because they want to. We think this learning timeline can turn into a digital portfolio, and combined with taking SATs or IGCSEs or similar, and transcripts from West River Academy, we think this will knock the socks off of many university admissions teams. And please note that students can add what they learned in the local dojos, and parents can add things, for their outside activities and sports. So this could be really comprehensive. Or at least this can help meet state or country specific education requirements if you have them. So remember, we have at least 3 other paths for students to follow if they don't want to attend university, including launching a tech company. Don't forget, we have lots of STEAM and entrepreneurship courses and clubs. The idea is to help some of our students come up with a viable tech business and pitch to angel investors. Or if they don't want to launch their own company, they can become a digital maker, like an amazingly skilled coder, UX designer, or such. Or they can become creative freelancers or online or offline business owners. There are so many options other than attending university for our students. So all of this is working out really well for our students, and they are thriving. The vast majority of enrolled Galileo families have told us that it's pretty much changed their kids' lives. Their kids are more motivated, improving skills that will benefit their future. They're learning with passion and joy. They're better prepared to be the leaders and makers of tomorrow. And they're really happy to connect with a global community of self-directed learners. We did a parent survey several months ago, and here are some of the responses to the question, what is the main benefit you receive from Galileo? Then 100% of them said that they would be disappointed if Galileo no longer existed, and 60% said they would be very disappointed. So this is something that's working really well. We're now at over 200 students from over 30 countries, and that's without a lot of marketing. Most of that growth has happened via word of mouth from enrolled families. And before trying to grow, we wanted to make sure that we have a good number of families and students who love what we've created and that we're delivering an amazing learning experience. So after a year and a half, we're at that point. We're really excited about the groundbreaking, traditional education system shattering and world-class program that we've built so far and are ready to scale and get the word out to more of the world about how awesome Galileo is. We also got more funding from top ed tech investors from Silicon Valley and around the world. We've grown to over 70 educators and staff members, and we also just finished developing a new personalized online platform that connects our students and teachers. It also has a parents portal and allows for a more efficient onboarding process. Up to recently, we've been 100% up online, but we plan to change that soon. So we are leveling up and creating an incredible new way for kids around the world to learn. We're launching an exciting new initiative and are working with innovative individuals who either have or will launch a small self-directed education center or a micro school or a local community center or a homeschool resource center. The actual space depends on the location or what the individual or groups we're working with want. So they will partner with Galileo, and students around the world can have the best of online and offline worlds together. We're calling these local dojos, which means place of the way in Japanese. We're already talking to over 20 people around the world who are interested in partnering with Galileo and operating a dojo. We're working with folks in various areas of the US, the UK, Mexico, Panama, Peru, Portugal, Spain, Romania, Slovakia, Kenya, Singapore, Tokyo, and Bangkok. Here is one with 10 students that just opened in Orlando, Florida, initially in the dojo founder's home, as they're still looking for commercial space to move into, and they have more students who want to join. And then some have an existing education business, for example, an existing self-directed learning center like the one we're working with in upstate New York, or an after-school coding and robotics classes like the two that we're partnering with in Tokyo and Singapore, or a makerspace like this one in Cluj, Romania, or this kindergarten that wants to expand to older kids. And then others plan to launch a location school soon. Here is one in Nairobi that plans to open in a co-working space. This one is in Alicante, Spain. Will first start out in a large home, then move once they grow. Some already participate in an active homeschooling community, and others plan to cater to a world schooling community or the expat community. So quite a mix. We think that having a network of dojos around the world that would partner with Galileo is the future of learning. The way it would work is these dojo owners will have students in their area enroll, and once their local COVID situation allows, these students will meet in person at a physical location, the dojo. These would be small groups of students, about 10 or 20 or 30 students per adult facilitator. Larger if space allows and more facilitators can be hired. And the kids will do learning activities there with the dojo owner or facilitator that are not as easily done online. So it's up to the dojo owner and their students what they want to do. Some may be interested in arts and crafts, others in nature and outdoor activities, others in science, robotics, and coding projects, others yoga and surfing, or permaculture and cooking, or learning through games and challenges, or building things via a makerspace, and on and on. Many dojos will be participating in our Worldwide Access Program and welcome world schoolers and other travelers or temporary families from other countries. Think of it as a student exchange program, but the entire family would visit the town or city the dojo is in. If that's the case, then students can look forward to field trips to castles, museums, archaeological sites, parks, and a variety of cultural and historical activities. And some plan to take what the kids are learning online with Galileo and bring them to life in their community. For example, what they learn in the entrepreneurship Nano Courses, they can turn into a real life business in their town. Or if there is a 3D printer at the dojo, the students can keep working on their projects there or continue working on their coding or robotics projects. So learning activities that are hands-on and great for groups to do together. So whatever the dojo owner's passion is, or whatever the interests of the students in the local community are, anything is possible. The daily or weekly schedule is up to the dojo owner, facilitator, and or the students, but perhaps there will be times of the day when the students will be participating in a dojo facilitator-led group activity, or they'll grab their laptop and headphones and find a quiet corner and attend a Galileo online class. Then perhaps other times the students will work on their personal learning work or free play with the other dojo students, or do student-led group activities. So there'll be a nice mix of online and offline, individual and group activities. We already have a group of over 20 amazing dojo launchers, and we're meeting online regularly and working together on the logistics and details for launching these dojos. And as of this recording, we have a dojo in Orlando, Florida, beta testing, and another in Cluj, Romania, doing a soft opening. Hopefully we can get more dojos live and start accepting students over the next several months. I personally can't wait until they launch, as my kids and I want to visit them all. Once the pandemic is over, of course. We have lots of Galileo families who are eager to start traveling again and visit these dojos for a month or several months at a time. Perhaps your family can visit these dojos as well. We think it would be a great way for local families to meet families from other countries and vice versa. Again, kind of like a student exchange program, but the entire family would be coming to town. And please note that enrolling in Galileo's paid online school, whether the self-directed plan or pro academics program, is optional. If you want to just enroll in the dojo's program and pay their tuition, you are welcome to do so. Each dojo will figure out their own tuition, as every dojo's costs for overhead, rent, staffing, supplies, etc. are unique. We will soon list the dojo's tuition on each dojo webpage. Here's an example of the tuition with Galileo's online self-directed or $300 plan, and one without. So just the dojo's fees. So the first step to start with Galileo is to join our free learning network, which will get you access to a free self-directed education course, a parents community, and many other cool learning resources. And your kids can join the free learning network, which will soon have lots of fun learning resources and challenges and science experiments. Also, students will soon have access to our Meet Your Mentors live events and even be able to participate in Galileo's student-led clubs for free. If you'd like to dual enroll in both the dojo and in Galileo, you will have options depending on what you'd like to sign up for. Here's a look at our tuition webpage for the three options: the free, the self-directed school, and the pro academics plan. So we hope you'll want to be part of this exciting new way to learn in one way or another as we revolutionize education together and better prepare our students for the future. The next step, other than joining the free learning network, is to make sure you take a good look at our website, as well as all these resources listed at the bottom of the page. We have a useful help section with many answers to FAQs. We also have a great YouTube channel where you can get to know our education team and our students. We're really excited about this hybrid learning concept and super excited to partner with other parents, educators, entrepreneurs, and everyone else in the community on this endeavor to create the perfect combination of online and in-person group learning, all focused on self-directed education. The students will get lots of support from the dojo owner and or the facilitator and the Galileo education team. So parents, you don't have to worry about your children's future. They will be getting a world-class education with Galileo and our local dojos and be better prepared than ever. So please join us by enrolling your kids in a dojo. Let's reinvent education together. Thank you so much.